This week on Tableau Tip Tuesday, I'm going to show you how to use measure names as part of your parameter actions. So what I mean by that is if I clicked on sales, it will then bring up the sum of sales over time, or if I click on discount, it'll bring up discount over time. How do we do this? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new KPI field with measure names. So we're going to put profit in the view, and then we're going to put sales in, and we're going to add profit ratio in there too, and discount. So we have all of these measures here, and I just want to make it a little bit bigger for the screen purposes. Okay, so we have these measures here. So now I want to be able to click on a specific measure to update a line chart. So I'm just going to build a simple line chart of month of order date, and then either the profit or sales depending on which one we select. So I'm going to put these into a dashboard. So sheet 1 at the top and sheet 2 at the bottom. So what I want to happen is if I clicked on profit, it would then change the bottom chart to profit, or if I clicked on sales, it would change the bottom half of the chart to sales. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a parameter action. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just going to create a dummy parameter and call this measure names parameter. Okay, we're going to keep it, we're going to change it to a string, and we're just going to keep it as all. Okay. So now the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create this dashboard action. So if you go to dashboard, actions, add action, change parameter value, and you want to go from sheet 1, your KPI, you want to target your measure names parameter on the select, and you want it using the measure names field with no aggregation. I'm going to just call this measure names selection. Okay, so now if I click on here, nothing's going to change, but if I show you the parameter, you can see it's got nothing in there currently, but if I hit profit ratio, it's going to change it to profit ratio, and the same with sales, and the same with profit. So that's what it's currently doing. So now what we want to do is we want to be able to use this parameter to bring back a calculation. So let's create a new calculated field and call it selected measure. So the way I did this for the Tableau Workout Wednesday session was I used a contains function. So if contains, and then you want the parameter, and then you want the value. So for this one, I'm going to start with sales. Then bring me back the sum of sales. And then we just keep writing this sort of statement. But I'm going to put profit ratio first because it's got profit inside it. So if you're using contains, then you need to make sure that profit ratio becomes above profit. So again, if the measure names parameter equals profit ratio, then profit ratio. And then I'm just going to copy this line. Ooh. Copy this line and paste it in. And I'm going to change this to profit and change this to the sum of profit. And then finally, one last one, we're just going to change this to discount. And then change this to the average discount. And then end. You can add more measures into this, but we're just going to leave it at those 4 for now. And then if I hit OK, and then if we go to sheet 2, we're going to change the sum of profit to our selected measure. Let me try that again. Put that on top of there. So now you can see we've changed our scale, but that's because we've got profit ratio selected. If I change it to profit, you'll see that the marks change, the aggregation changes. So that's how you would use the parameter action to use measure names and measure values for your KPIs.